Right then, another video. So, doing another video today. As you know, or if you don't know, we've got some progress done on the car already. The tooling on the back's been done. We've done all the management. We're just waiting for a couple of bits on the back to come back from the machine shop, and we continue on with that. So now the management's done, we can now move on to the front of the car. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit of a backstory before I sort of like get into it and sort of like reasonings why we're doing what we're doing. So obviously we're building this with airlift, and the whole purpose of this is to showcase the products, as well as making a very cool car that works. So, you know, we was using the builder series to make a setup for this car, but me being me, obviously I wanted it to be as low as it possibly could. There was bags that we could have bought that would have literally just bolted on pretty much exactly how the stock suspension allows it to, on the front anyway, but it wouldn't go as low as I'd like it to. So yeah, for this, I actually opted for us to get some double bellows and actually the longest struts that we could get. So yeah, this is the little setup we're using. It has an adjustable sleeve that goes on the bottom of here, but we've taken that off. I'm using it for something to mock up on the back. But it's just an eyelet on the bottom, basically. So my plan with this was to get the longest strut I could. And when I mean longest strut, I mean from here to here, not the longest bag, because I'm pretty sure most of the bags are roughly the same size. The longest strut means we've got more of a stroke from like full drop and full height. So that's why I went for this one. Now, to get the longest strut in there was some modifications that we did need to do to the lower control arm. Basically building a drop pocket underneath. We're running the strut upside down like that, just because that's how it's gonna suit our car. What else? Yeah, there's one thing I had in mind with this was spatial constraints. Now, the website says that this goes to a maximum of 5.5 inch, right? And I was like, right, okay, on full pressure, it's 5.5 inches. And I was like, right, okay. And down here, I have this pipe. 3mm wall, 5.5 inch ID. Well, it's supposed to be 6-inch pipe. This is such an expensive piece of metal. The reason I have this is because I did the strut towers in my Toyota, which I'm going to show you right now. This is my Toyota. Now, the Toyota we got on the ramp over there is a Toyota Corona, right? And that is a 1970. So this car here, Corona Mark II. So basically, this is the son of the car we've got over the road. And currently, it has no engine because the head gasket went. It's down there. Poor car. We're working on it. Anyway, I don't know how messy it is in here. Oh, very. So yeah, this car isn't bagged, right? Before I start. This car is actually on air cuts, so the car is running S15 326 power coilovers with Roboruta. I don't know how to say it. It's a Japanese company that make air cups for supercars. So this runs a 3P airlift management on the air cups while still running the car really low. So yeah, it's just a thing that I've done in the last year or so to try it out, and it's very good. Very good for what I need. But anyway, that's not why we're here. Here is the strut tops. So this car used to be a separate shock and spring, and because this car has S15 coilovers now, that we had to put these strut towers, I say we, just me, I had to put these strut towers in to allow for the S15 top mounts to like mate up and still use the air cup as well. So yeah, that's a 9-inch strut raise from factory. That's why I have that pipe, and I had to buy like 2 meters of it just to do this. And I think it cost me like 250 quid for the 2 meters worth. Anyway, so yeah, from that, I took the measurements off the website and I was like, right, 5.5 inches, I'll use this pipe right here and I'll just hope that it fits. So yeah, got these laser cut when I was laser cutting the rest of the stuff. And that basically just goes on there with a little bit of a lip to weld against the whole way around. And then I basically risked it all and just thought, yeah, that'll fit. I'll just make it fit if not. There's loads of room there, loads of room. And then I thought maybe it's when it's fully compressed. I've got my little contraption here that I've made. It's got a little bit of a leak, it's not perfect. Anyway, it's probably about... Right, let me try that again. It still fits. Even fully inflated. So yeah, still fits fully inflated in there. So that makes my life so much easier because I thought it wasn't gonna fit. So now I can continue. So I'm just gonna talk you through my plan with this. Obviously this is the eyelet that's gonna go on here. And it's gonna be like that. And this is gonna be upside down in the car, sort of like this physically, but just over there. Now that's on there, this is gonna go something like that. This is gonna go like this. Same again on this side. And then that is gonna weld onto there. I'll do this with just 2 hands. But yeah, imagine that upside down. I'm gonna turn the screen upside down. Imagine this upside down with that pipe sort of like 2 inches down here, and then the bottom arm here. So drop pocket, bottom arm here, and then weld it all together and then put it in the gut, theoretically. So that's my plan. That's the backstory. Let's hope it all fits. So, get a better understanding now. This is the lower control arm. This is where the spring and shot go through the middle. And the strut top goes all the way up there. And yeah, we need to get the bag in here somewhere. Right, that is as low as the car's gonna go. Now, I think I've already videoed this before, but if you haven't watched the other video, I'm just showing you now. So, obviously, that eyelet is not gonna bolt in down here. The bag is not gonna fit in here because there's not enough space, which is why the drop pocket is gonna be, you know, down here. And that's where the shot will bolt on about here, if that makes sense. So, think about it like this. That's gonna be basically there, and then we've just gotta basically put that pipe upwards so it just obviously fills that gap and then mount it underneath. And as you've probably seen before, I don't have a set idea ever. I just make things work. So from that, I'm gonna get the control arm off, get things mocked up and see where it takes me. Clean the arm up, got rid of all the millions of years of dirt and grime off it. Cut the bit of pipe out. That's how much we're gonna, well, that's not, hang on, don't look at that. This edge here is gonna be here. So that's gonna be like down here basically. But yeah, got that in the middle of this, where it would have normally mounted. And I'm going to just draw around there. I have to make sure we still use this hole here because that's that bolt on the ball joint. So yeah, make sure we still got that. And yeah, just basically going to cut around it, or draw around it first, get the middle bit out, and then just sort of start recessing it down into the arm itself. And then from there, once I've got it like flush with this, I'm going to tack it in, tack that on onto there, and then tack the bit on there. And that should be within this line here, both sides. Yep. So it's still like the same shape width-wise, if that makes sense. Time to do loads of cutting, and I'll return back once I've done that. We're going back now. Now to just recess it in until it gets all the way down here, basically. Splendid. Well, that. I'm gonna carry this on tomorrow. Fuck. Right, new day. Thumb is actually okay. It's alright, don't worry about it. But, got this all tacked up just now. Yeah, got some good tacks on it. It's recessed all the way down to the arm there on both sides. So it's flat against it. Obviously put the top plate on. Just tacked in for now so we can mock it up. And then we can then see where we want to put the brackets underneath. Hopefully we don't have to cut this down. I did this 2.5 inches long. This edge here to there is like 2.25 inches, so it's not much difference in height compared to this bit here because we're buttoned up to this edge on the other arm. So really the only thing that's hanging down would be sort of these things that are 2 inches off the bottom of here. So it looks a bit odd now, but it's sort of exactly the same measurement as that was now. But we've also got obviously a lot more clearance this way. The main concern is that I don't want anything hanging down loads because there's one random bit of road that you will come across in your driving where you'll have to dip off to the side and you can then basically. The reason I obviously don't want it to hang down so low is so it doesn't, you know, hang down so low because obviously it's going to go up with the suspension, so that's not a problem. But there will be random bits of road where you will go sort of, this wheel will drop down and then the road will still stay up here. Like when you're driving up against like a skinny A road and it dips down to the side, that's when you'll most likely hit underneath. If it's not hanging down loads, it's not going to be a problem. And also, it's on air, so it's naturally just going to be higher anyway. Just thinking of all the possibilities. So we're going to try it on, have a look, and see what we're dealing with. Right, so happy with this now. That's not hanging down as low as I thought it was at all. So you know, there's loads of clearance there. We're just trying to, well, I say I'm just trying to fight the best positioning for this lower mount. So as you can see, I've sort of positioned the bag this way because, no I haven't, I can still go that way a bit more. But yeah, look, you can see this is why I wanted to cut the inside out because it's gonna be rubbing on that bit there. And I still need to cut this bit out here because when you articulate the suspension, obviously the bag then moves that way considerably, and it obviously closes up and, you know, rubs on that edge there, which is definitely not good enough. still needs a little bit more because I think the bag is literally getting pinched right there. So I now need to figure out the best way to do that because look, that's getting close to that. There's so much articulation in there that it's, well, it's causing issues. So like my plan to fix all this is obviously to cut. Gonna cut this edge out here and then get the bag further inwards. As you can see, there's like a couple of mil there, probably like 10 mil. I can move it over, and that is like well above drive height. So, you know, I'm gonna pull that in a little bit, and then that way it's still got room to move that way when we air it out. So then I also need to move the lower mount this way. So cut those tacks off, push it through, and hopefully that fixes it. Because that is, well, tight. I'm also gonna cut all the bits that are gonna rub on the outer edge of the arm as well. So yeah, 2 seconds. There you go, trimmed bucket. Should be loads more clearance there now. So I can bring that bag over this way. Obviously trim that out there, so that's a full circle now. I did trim this edge just here, ever so slightly, just because that's like the proud edge of the bag. So if it's gonna hit there, then it will. Might need to take that down a little bit more in future, but basically gonna get it on the car now, put these back on and see where we stand. So ignore these broken tacks. Basically, I'm gonna have to elongate this out a little bit because I really need to move the bag further in that way. It's not, I had it at a nice point that it didn't rub on this side, but it was rubbing down there. So I need to like bring this edge down and then bring this bit where we trimmed it down up here. Need to bring that to sort of like down here, and then this bit here needs to come down into there. It's one of them where it's like, wow, there's a lot less room than I imagined. So instead of me picking up the camera and going, this didn't work, I'm gonna make it work and then I'll join you. Right, after many hours of trying to get these to fit, they got very, very, very close, but it's still rubbing. Now I've done all sorts of cutting, as you can see. I literally pulled this bit down, and then I obviously recessed that. All the edges inside of here are recessed. I've cut it back here and pushed the bag right over. So I'll show you where ride height is. It's about there. That's about ride height. We're clear on the back, very close, but we're clear. And same on the other side. I can't show you. But the problem lies on the full drop. Like, we're still good. See how look, we're clear in there. Even on like full height, which is about there. We got clearance ever so slightly. It's very close, but yeah. Bag's all the way over, and on full drop, you can already see where it's gonna hit because I've already hit it a couple of times. So yeah, that's rubbing on there, which is considerably annoying. So my plan is now to raise this top mount by 2 inches, right? And then once I've done the top mount, I can then come out from here. I'm gonna go round with a bit of strap and then build a pedestal that goes round. Still utilize this bit, but then cut all the inside of this bit out here. And then this bit won't rub because there'll be more clearance there. So yeah, very close. Obviously, if we wasn't going so low, it would be great. Like if it only aired out to there, that would be fantastic, but it doesn't. So that is the job for this weekend. It's like late Friday afternoon now. I've got to go to the engineer shop, see what he's doing with my stuff, and then I'll obviously update you when I'm doing this. This is one of them where it takes so much longer, and then you're trying to basically work around it rubbing and then trying everything else before you do the rest of the things that you know that you need to do. The reason for raising the strut up is because obviously the bag tapers in, so there will be, you know, a good 15 mil of clearance this way, and then the bag, this arm will then like go in here. That makes sense. Obviously that line is where it's been touching. If we raise the strut top an inch or 2 inches, then the arm's going to be in this recess here. I don't know, I'm chatting. Right, I think this is going to fit now. Obviously, we've got this lip off here, so we've gone down probably like an inch or so there, so there should be enough clearance there. We've come out like that, both sides. So that is like fully as wide as it can go. Well, it can go wider, but there's no need for it to go. It was only just rubbing, so I don't see the point of going any wider. Originally, it was obviously, the bag was rubbing on here, but up here, and now it's gonna be like round. That makes sense? I think it makes sense. What I do know is, because I've taken so many different attempts to it, I've got to build it in that same process when I do the other side. It's just the way that I've welded a piece, like welded this in, and then taken it here, and welded that in, and then taken that way from here. So it's like a process, so I've got to remember for both sides, basically. I'm gonna try it on now, see if it fits, and then I'll weld it all together. That is, well, where it was sitting beforehand. We have clearance, finally. After all that messing about, we finally have clearance. Man, that was a lot of work. Now, my plan is, which I've already mentioned, to take an inch out of here afterwards, but I'll have to do the top mount. That's not going to be in this video. I just need to extend this bit here upwards, and then I can take an inch out of those and put it back up. But for the rest of it, I can now fully weld it all together and, you know, be happy with the outcome. This might be very boring to watch, I'm not quite sure. I've filmed loads of stuff and I know that I've absolutely been rambling as well. I'm not going to obviously film the other side, but you get the gist of what's happening. I wanted to get a video out before Monday happens, so yeah, showing you the progress of what's going on. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the video. Hot, 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 hot. And now I'm going to get some solid bar that goes around there just to finish it off, I think. I might get that as well. B&Q is actually wicked for that sort of stuff. They've got all different sizes of like hollow tube, round bar, square bar, angle iron. And it's all really cheap. It's my go-to for like random little bits like that, especially on a weekend. Like so. As you can see, I just welded that in, cut that back there. I'm gonna do the same on this side. Basically, once I put that bar in, I can then cut back further and just sort of like make it look normal. See how I'm gonna do this side now, match this side, trim it all back, and I think that'll be done. There's a lot of welding on this thing, but it's going to be strong. One arm, really modified to accept bags completed. Pretty confident it's going to be strong enough, I'll be honest. Pretty confident. It looks funny, but it works. Obviously, there is some more left to do to this arm, I know that. I'll just include that in the video where we raise a little bit on the top of the subframe. The reason I'm not doing that now is because when the engine goes back in, I've got to drop the subframe, put it on the subframe, and put it all back in one go, because it's going to be so much easier, because there's not a lot of space in the tunnel to go like that, because it's so short. And the fact that I've got to take the bonnet off and stuff like that, it's going to be easier to just do it on the subframe. So I'll end up basically welding the subframe out of the car, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to do it for now, because I've got to do the other control arm. But yeah, this video is probably long-winded, but you might have enjoyed the process of it. Just showing you exactly what actually goes into these sort of things, and also the stress that comes with it when you think things are not going to work. But luckily, we got an angle grinder and a welder, and I managed to make it work. It's taken a while. This is like the third day. Not full days, but I'm gonna basically do the other side and then film it in TikTok format. And then I'll upload that onto here in a short, so you can see some sparks and welding and stuff. That's all, that is all. So next week, I'm gonna pull this apart, be back on this, trying to get this finished. Waiting on some bits for the prelude as usual. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you got to the end, well done. You must be really interested in cutting things up. We're getting there. I've ordered pretty much everything else that I need for the back of this now, like new U-bolts and stuff like that. So hopefully by the end of next week, we would have solutions and it will be, well, nearly there. I don't know, we'll see. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.